is KIC Radio.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Southbank Podcast. It's a pleasure to welcome you. I am Cameron Gorman, and I'm joined by the always present Jacob Jones. It's been a double header for Wolves this week. We've had a game away at Nottingham Forest, where we somehow got a point despite a terrible performance. And then Sunday, it was off to the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken, to go to Grimsby for what can only be described as a throwback FA Cup fixture. Absolute torrential downpour and a lot of mud made for quite an entertaining spectacle. Jacob, how have you found these matches and how's your week been overall?
Yeah, the week's been okay. Fed up of this weather in the UK at the minute, as I'm sure most of us are. Seems like it's raining every single day.
Improving slightly though, fingers crossed.
Well, fingers crossed. I just looked out the window then and it seems clear. A lot more clear than it has done. Whilst Wolves, the football side of things, have kept 2 clean sheets. Not particularly 2 games I'm going to be in a rush to revisit. 2 incredibly tough watches probably found. Grimsby, of course, getting the win over Lions we'll get on to, but been rewarded with a horrible home tie against Liverpool, which will be the end of our cup run, you'd imagine. But yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, that cup run in the cup game in the 5th round is actually 2 back-to-back home games against Liverpool within the same week, that means, which... Oh, I don't know. Is it strange to say that makes me feel like we might get something out of one of them?
We had it against Man United a few years ago, didn't we? We beat them twice.
Yeah, we won them both.
We were a lot better then, though. Was the only problem?
I'm not exactly holding out the same hope. Well, firstly, we'll just go over the Forest game. Jose Sarr was the only real shining light for me personally on this Wednesday night fixture. And honestly, we got absolutely battered, didn't we, Jacob?
Yeah. To come away from that with 0-0 in what I thought was, I don't say it's likely, one of our worst performances of the season.
Yeah.
I think of some of our performances this season, that's a very, very almost impressive thing to do. I think both Forest games probably now stick out as 2 down points of our season in terms of performances. Although I will say, perhaps, whilst Forest did have 35 shots, perhaps we did well to limit them to a lot of them being half chances.
Yeah, a lot of pop shots from outside the box.
Of course, the one that stands out is absolute save of the season by Jose Sarr, the double save.
Yep.
Gibbs White going close in the first half as well.
Also, some wasteful moments, though. There was a 6-on-1 for Forest on the counter-attack, and they failed to even get it on target.
I mean, that's absolutely shocking. I mean, they've just appointed Vitor Pereira.
Which is shocking in itself.
Yeah. Who, of course, we have some fond and some not so fond memories of. Can probably have a big part to blame in why we are where we are now.
Yeah, definitely with the recruitment aspects.
Of course, perhaps from Forest's point of view, they'll look at what we did last season, Vitor coming in and having almost immediate impact. Will he have the same at Forest? I don't know. I think it's a tough regime to work under, and I think perhaps the league has found out Vitor Pereira now knows how to play against him. And given time at Forest, you are immediately under pressure. It feels as soon as walking through the door. There's no guarantee Vitor will even be there at the end of this season the way they're going. But yeah, I think they definitely showed signs of a team that will come down with us when we played them on Wednesday, and definitely a great risk of that.
I completely agree. I think Vitor's appointment, while it makes sense based off the back end of last season, I'm sure he'll be going straight to the scouts to tell them to buy Marshall Menezzi. I'm also pretty certain that I don't know. I don't think it was really Dyche's fault. What he got sacked for. He can't go and put the ball in the back of the net. If you're having that many chances and shots on target within a game of Premier League football, clearly that shows your style of football is somewhat working, though. Although it was more so rumoured to be disconnect between him and the dressing room.
Yeah. I mean, I have to be careful with what I say, but Marinakis, the Forest owner, is I have some choice words for him that I won't use on this podcast, but I
Very
feel
controversial man. I'll
I
put it
feel
like
like
that.
the way I'll be clever the way I go about is dictates a football club is unethical, shouldn't be allowed in the Premier League. I think there should be an investigation into him personally. I think especially calling up 5 players to be summoned to his chambers almost and decipher the future man just proves to be unrest at that football club. And
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
like Emperor Palpatine in charge of the Death Star.
yes, precisely. I think that's a great way of putting it. That won't get us in any trouble. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we're both eager to move on from Wolves Forest, despite the point. One thing to just go over quickly: Mane did have a late chance to win it. Hit his effort straight at the goalkeeper. I would have been absolutely ecstatic, and we would have been here saying, "What performance!" I'm sure if we got a smash and grab win, but it wasn't to
I mean,
be.
with
It's the
that chance,
victories.
before we go on, Cameron, I think throughout this episode, I might give some stick to Tony Alakadar. I don't think his performances have been good, but he does really well for that Mane chance, picking it up
Yeah.
halfway line and finding Mane. Perhaps you could say Mane should do better, but I'm not about to dig out an 18-year-old who has been by far and away our most influential player this season.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just to get on to Tully as we go into Grimsby, I don't want to get too into any of our players for their footballing aspect for this Grimsby fixture due to the conditions in which they were playing. But I thought Tolu did really well to occupy the Grimsby defence and give them a lot to deal with. They didn't know how to handle someone of his size. And yeah, it made for an interesting battle, I thought, with the centre halves. But getting to the Grimsby game, fourth round of the FA Cup, Sunday, 15th of Feb, and a 1:30 kickoff. A bit of an early one if you were making the travel down. And Wolves doing quite well, actually, to even play football. The game itself, not many chances in it for either team. Now, Wolves didn't face a shot on target in this game, but they also only had one which they scored from. It wasn't a game of exactly many chances, was it, Jacob?
I think you put it perfectly, where you can't really dig into the players for this game. I think, yeah, it wasn't a game of any chances, bar the first 30 seconds when Grimsby nearly put themselves ahead immediately. A great chance, and I thought he did really well with it.
Then.
Yeah, I thought Vernon did really well with the chance as well. Actually, it has good curl. It's beat Sam Johnson from target. It's going into that bottom corner.
Oh, it was a great effort from some distance as well.
I think the game for me shouldn't have even gone ahead. I think there's been times where when I was playing Sunday League football, the ref has turned up the pitches better than that and called the game. I think it was awful, and I think whilst it's the same for both teams, it played into Grimsby's hands. Obviously, the team that aren't going to try and play football against the Premier League side. I mean, the worst case of it for me was Mateus Mane trying to pass the ball and it gets stuck in a puddle, in which he does fantastically to win a foul from that situation. But yeah, I think Wolves fans, Cameron, from what I've seen, I'd say 80-90% have been quite fair in their reasoning and going, look, we didn't batter Grimsby, we weren't convincing, but I don't think many teams in the English football pyramid would have turned up and battered Grimsby on that pitch. There's been a small portion of fans who have been quite harsh on the performance, I think, but I think if you're going to be harsh on that performance, I think have a bit more of a better understanding of football. Just because we're playing a League Two side doesn't mean that suddenly we can make balls fly through muddy pitches and play 70-yard passes across the floor. It's just not going to happen in conditions like that. I think we did very well to get over the line.
Yeah, I completely agree with that analysis. I thought in portions of the game where the rain was still going, especially in the first half mainly, there were times where both teams are just simply having to hoof it up the pitch because they can't even play short passes. And then it was just a matter of who's going to win the second ball. Is it going to be Tolu? Is it going to be the centre halves for Grimsby? I thought, to get into some of the performers I thought were quite good, I thought Andre did really well on Sunday. I was surprised to see him with the captain's armband initially, based off recent captain choices. I was even more surprised to see who got it when he went off, which we'll get to later. But I thought Santi obviously was the standout from Sunday. Absolute warrior, covered in mud, gets the goal with his only chance of the game, and an absolutely phenomenal block at the end of the game to stop things going to extra time and further, which I thought was arguably just important as the goal.
Yeah.
Now, did you have any standout performers?
I think João Gomez was fantastic. I think still
very unlucky not to score too.
Yeah, didn't let it phase him at all, the conditions. I think Santi was phenomenal. Honestly, I think not even take away the goal and the block, which were fantastic. Commanded his box really well, wasn't phased by the occasion. I mean, I think Cressy, I'm not going to dig him out for it, was caught out a few times and Santi had to recover for him on a fair few occasions. I think Santiago Bueno, one of his best performances in the Wolves shirt, I'd say. One that probably stood out for the long reason, I don't want to dig him out, so I'm just going to say my piece and leave it. Adam Armstrong, I thought, was quite poor. Particularly the chance he missed. I know he doesn't expect it through to him, but you've got to at least get that on target. I mean, hit it with your weak foot. You should be able to hit it with your weak foot from that close range with no goalkeeper really present. Well, half present, I suppose, if he's tracking back. But, I thought it was a resilient performance from Wolves, and we earned our place in the hat in the next round. It wasn't pretty. It was never going to be. Like you say, a proper FA Cup draw if you're a neutral. But I think when you look at it, it's tailor-made for a cup set. Horrible pitch away at Grimsby. But we didn't let that happen. We did get through the line and over the line, as you would say, not through the line. But yeah, happy.
Well, we won't be getting through any lines today. In the first half, there was a potential red card. There was a challenge on David Moller-Wolfer. And I just wanted to hear what you thought of this. The ref didn't give anything, but there were a lot of concerns amongst fans. With people saying if there was VAR, he would have been sent off. Now, I initially didn't see what was wrong with this. I also think you've got to take the conditions into account. But it was quite nasty on the replay, I have to admit.
Yeah, I don't think it's a red card. I think it's a yellow at most. I think it doesn't look nastier with the conditions, and obviously it speeds him up as he's sliding. Yeah, but I do think it's a genuine attempt to play the ball because he does go to play the ball. Does he try and leave a bit on Monowolf? Yes, but that's not red card worthy for me. I think it looks a lot worse, slowed down in caked mud. In Grimsby. But,
very true.
I don't think it's a red card anyway.
I thought there was some fantastic moments from our fans, some very good chants. Do you have any personal favourites?
I can't really repeat the personal favourites. A lot directed at the mascot of Grimsby, who was trying his best to steal the limelight.
Yeah. I thought the one, what was it? It was just something about them being fish. It was all just fish related.
Oh, yeah, you only sing when you're fishing.
Yeah, you only sing when you're fishing. That was the one. That had me cracking up. I also thought on Sunday Jackson actually had a pretty decent game.
He actually tried to use his pace and get out of.
Yeah, I thought in the conditions that was crucial though, because you couldn't really play football. He was able to just kick it as far as he could really on that pitch, and then managed to beat his man to it a few times, and I thought that created a lot of good chances for us.
Well, I fear it may just be a matter of Jackson Chacha finding his level, in honesty.
Yeah, also agreed. I also want to actually nitpick Rob Edwards a bit here. I don't think Mane should have played.
I think he should have played 90 minutes.
I think to be playing an 18-year-old 90 plus minutes every game, there becomes a point where surely in a game like this you should be resting him on a pitch like that.
I don't know.
I feel like the minutes could come to cost him eventually if he gets injured, and then it hampers his development.
I'd personally rest him against Arsenal.
Really?
We're not going to get anything from the Arsenal game. The league campaign.
Double game week, Jacob. I've started him.
The league campaign is over.
The FPL campaign isn't.
I think the FA Cup is, a great way to build momentum going into next season's FA Cup run. So I'd like to play these players in the FA Cup. And also, Cameron, I don't think he should have played 90 minutes. I agree. I think he should have maybe subbed off. But when you look onto that bench, I still see who would start over him. You got Bellegarde, who's just coming back from injury. Angel Gomez, whose game would just be neutralised completely on that pitch. He wouldn't be able to pass the ball around and do all those kind of things. So I think we're almost at a loss to who would be able to come in for Mane.
True say, true say. I don't really have much more to add regarding this fixture, to be honest. We look ahead in the FA Cup draw, obviously, to Liverpool at home. What do you think about that one? Do you think there's any hope?
I do. I think it's obviously a tough draw, but of course Liverpool's still in the Champions League. Still got a lot to play for in the league. They need to get in that top four for Arne Slot to keep his job. They could fall victim to almost bypassing the FA Cup. And I think they play that week before we go into it or something, because we obviously play on midweek and then FA Cup, and then I think they play Champions League after we play on the FA Cup, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully we can catch them when they fall victim to a FA Cup kind of look over. But look, I think, we probably will lose. Liverpool's B team is a lot stronger than our A team at the minute. But we went to Anfield and we gave Liverpool a good game. So there's no reason we can't do it again. We'll have the Premier League game to learn off in the week before we go into it. So, who knows? The magic of a cup could come to fruition and then suddenly we're in a quarter-final.
Yeah, we would love to see it. For some reason, I do actually just envision we'll get something from at least one of those Liverpool games. There's no way we lose both. Well, there's every way we lose both. But let's hope for some optimism. Anyway, less optimism now. Tomorrow, we host league leaders Arsenal, who are seeking that elusive Premier League trophy. But with City hot on their tails, that second place is looking just as comfortable as ever. Wolves, Arsenal, Molineux. Jacob, who you got?
Arsenal. This is a short and sweet answer. We don't do well against Arsenal at the best of times. Never mind when they're arguably the best team in Europe. I think we've only beaten them twice. Since we've come back up into the Premier League. The last one being in lockdown. So that speaks volumes to how long ago. How long it's been since we've had the better of Arsenal. They are a very well drilled side, and they have got injuries, but at the same point I mentioned earlier, their squad depth is fantastic.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
They managed to bring a few players off at half time and in the second half against Wigan on Saturday, whereas we've just played whereas we've just played a very grueling 90 minutes against Grimsby, where we only made one sub, and that happened in the 89th minute. I don't see a world where we get anything from this game. Of course, we did give a good account of ourselves at the Emirates, and I think that's the most we can hope for again, is a good account and not a battering, honestly.
I would definitely agree. I feel our lack of rotation Sunday wasn't in our hands necessarily, but it's definitely something that will cost us. Arsenal experimenting a bit in that game against Wigan. Obviously, like you said, bringing off their best players at half time, such as Saliba, even Kepa getting subbed off. But Saka was actually played in that 10 position against Wigan. Now, is this an experiment that we could potentially see Arteta continue against us? We'd certainly be a team for him to try and do it, being bottom of the league, but I would expect Odegaard to be starting nevertheless. Arsenal's rotation is quite simply ridiculous, though. Whoever they play, it's going to be a top caliber starting 11.
Yeah. I don't see the Saka 10 experiment carrying on into our game. And honestly, I think I don't see Arteta having the cojones to do it. In honesty, I think if let's say if you're Arteta, you need to win this league by hook or by crook. You start Saka not in his natural position when you've got Odegaard there, and then you drop points to bottom of the league. Suddenly you've mounted massive pressure on not just yourself but the team. I think Saka will be moved back out to his natural position off the right wing, and Odegaard will come back in behind the striker, who I assume will be either Jesus or Gyökeres.
I would completely agree. I would expect it to be Victor Gyökeres starting, as Gabriel Jesus did play the full 90 against Wigan on Saturday. I'm also expecting the man who hates Wolverhampton to be starting due to being subbed off and getting a goal. Noni Madueke, why do you have such beef with Assi?
I mean, yeah. I don't really have much to say on it. I don't really care about him, to be honest.
Oh, neither. But Hincapie, Gabriel, Declan Rice all rested ahead of this game, so would expect all of them to be starting. Same for Gyökeres, only coming off the bench. Wolves team news. Any absentees?
I think
Not
just the
from-
usual suspects, isn't it? Totti Gomez is still out, although he's back in training. Obviously, Andre played on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I think it's just Totti, in it. We'll wait, and Hwang, of course, being out.
Oh no. Anyway, with that, I don't actually have that much more to mention. It seems we've covered everything. Jacob, I'm not sure if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, no, happy Pancake Day to all that celebrate. But I hope you enjoy your pancakes. I won't enjoy Wolves tomorrow as we get pancaked by Arsenal, probably. But flipped
I'm
by
sure they'll
Arsenal.
be stacking the goals like they stack their pancakes. Jacob, what's your personal favourite pancake toppings?
I'm a lemon and sugar kind of
Oh,
guy.
me too. Me
I don't
too.
mind a bit of Nutella probably in there, but I'm a lemon and sugar guy mostly. I know some of my flatmates like to go with the strawberries and cream or something, but I think game's
Oh,
gone
God,
when you
no.
get to that point. I think it's just typical lemon and sugar.
It's giving afternoon tea.
Yeah, I don't see the vision personally, but yeah, I look forward to that. Hope you all have a good Shrove Tuesdays going out, and yeah, hopefully it's a Wolves shock result tomorrow. We can take it to Palace on Sunday, and we can come back on talking about another 2 clean sheets, another 2 wins. We only got the 1 this week. How bizarre is it? We've had 2 games and 1 goal to talk about throughout the team. I mean, wow, it just sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, you would hope there's more to talk about next week, just not on the negative front. It'll be Ash Wednesday tomorrow when Wolves play Arsenal, and hopefully we're not the ones getting blown aside.
Hopefully we're on fire. Anyway, this has been the Southbank Podcast.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure if you have somehow got to this point and are still listening to us drivel on about pancakes. But let's hope it'll all be in the fryer tomorrow and Wolves will get something. I need to stop now.
What the flip?
Good God. On that note, I think it's better we leave you to scoff on your pancakes and watch some football. Hopefully Wolves can prove to not be a thorn in the side as we approach Easter Sunday. Now, thank you for listening. I've been joined by the ever-present Jacob Jones. It's a pleasure to have you with us as always. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
See you next week. This has been the Southbank Podcast, and thank you for listening.
This is KIC Radio.